Yeah, so early on, when you were developing your musicianship, were you doing yoga and involved in that, and when you were out playing with the cats?
Very much so. Yeah, not that they were doing it, but that's something I felt I had to do for relaxation, for integration. I felt it was a very important component of who I was at the time and where I was going. Playing with somebody like Pharoah, the name comes up again because he's a long-winded player, right? And when we were playing together, some of the tunes went for a whole set. So there was a lot of playing to be done, a lot of blowing to do, and often he would want me to sustain the band because he had other things to do he wanted to do while the set was going on. He said, I'll be back. See you, I'll be back, close the set out, that kind of, confidence. He had that kind of confidence in me. And often I would see him sitting up front, checking the band out, which is appropriate as well. So he liked my playing at that time, and we became very close and very, family-like. Yeah. So it was, even though I was more of a yogi type, I think he was familiar with it. I'm sure he looked into it. I wouldn't say he was committed to yoga as I was. I was committed to the yoga. I also, along these lines, because we're talking about Pharoah and horn playing, I also wanted to improve my breathing when I was doing yoga. So that helped to give me more power, especially with the slow pranayama. I was doing a lot of deep breath training, a lot of alternate nostril breathing to get the left and right side and a certain kind of resonance. And so there was a lot of breathing meditation that I did at that time, which gave me the power to keep up with Pharoah and the jazz cats as much as anyone could, and sometimes I was even stronger than what they were doing. So I felt that I had the power to push Pharoah, not only sort of rise with him, but to push him as well. Help him, reinforce whatever we were doing, as well as be served by what he was doing to lead the band, and so on and so forth.
And then in terms of so Pharoah, but then there were all other musicians you were playing with. Certainly, did you find it difficult at all? I mean, when you were going more of the yogic path, and then you were in the company of people who were
doing everything else.
Yeah,
doing anything else.
Yeah, what was that like for you?
Oh, it was amusing to me. What it did was it reflected back to me my independence of a lot of the stuff that the guys were doing. They needed to do it, so I respected them. Guys would say they needed to do this drink, and I agreed with them in that case. Yeah, you feel you need it, do it, man. How else are you going to get beyond it unless you go through it in some cases? So if it wasn't this, it was that. It was a whole litany of things the guys were into or trying or experiencing, and I honored them. You got to get through it. You really have to do it to get through it, I felt. Right? But I didn't need to go through all of those changes along with them. And my studies were different. They were studying music, studying musicians. I was studying yogic philosophy and going deeper into that sort of realm, as I still am today. And so I didn't feel better than any other. I felt I had to learn some things, and I would remain dedicated to it, despite what was going on around me. And I realized I had an obligation to represent something different. And it wasn't all the same when I was in the band. It was not the usual. I had a different conversation. Not that it was better than what the guys were talking about, but yeah, I was wanting to improve, become a better being, and offer people a little bit more deepness, not only power, but the deepness of feeling, right? Getting into the feeling, heart feeling. Right? Pharoah was good for that. He was kind of like a gentle soul and a very soulful cat, and so was I in my own way. So together, I think we made some great music. Made a lot of people happy because I heard a lot of compliments about us during that time. That was important, to hear that I was of use to him in a certain way, and I could make that kind of contribution to him and his band and the people in the field of music that really dug what he was doing